The topic of our presentation is the point of interest recommendation. First, I will give a brief introduction of the point of interest recommendation. Point of interest recommendation stresses to user places of interest based on factors like preference and location. It improves users' experience by providing personalized suggestions, discoveries of new places of specific interest in an area. It outlines data such as user behavior and reviews to offer personalized suggestions. It enhances users' engagement and satisfaction, particularly in applications with local-based service. It's commonly found in mapping, travel, and location-based apps. This is the agenda. The first paper I will introduce is Time-Aware Point of Interest Recommendation. The paper explores the importance of the temporal behavior and the spatial behavior for a POI recommendation system. Generally, the paper can be divided into two parts. The first part explores the temporal behavior and gets two achievements. First, time plays an important role in POI recommendations because most of users tend to visit different places at different times in a day. Second, to overcome the data sparsity, the data smoothing is used. The paper calculates the similarity value between two time slots. The empty value is estimated by the time similarity. The bottom mid image shows the time similarity of three time slots. The second part explores the spatial behavior and got another two results. First, the probability that the user will visit a candidate POI is determined by both the probability of the candidate POI and the conditional probability of the historical check-in. Second, the probability of a POI varies over time. The bottom right image shows the varies. With a combination of the four results, 9 methods are tried by the paper. The results of the 9 methods are shown in this slide. The second paper I will introduce is Exploiting Geographical Influence for Collaborative Point of Interest Recommendation. The paper makes the assumption that the POI recommendation depends on user preference, social influence, and geographical influence. Then it does an experiment with a normalized user-based collaborative filtering. The paper gets three results. First, geographical influence shows a more significant impact on the effectiveness of POI recommendations in LBSNs. Second, the social friend links themselves contribute little for the accuracy of POI recommendations. Third, random walk-based method and item-based CF perform much worse than user-based CF for POI recommendations. And author gives the following analysis. Similar users or friends do not necessarily have high similarity in their check-in behaviors. POIs in LBSNs may not have been visited by sufficient many users to make item-based CF work well.
I'm Eunice and I'll be presenting the next two slides. This paper introduces a location content-aware recommender system designed for users in new cities with limited activity history, addressing data sparsity challenges. Existing methods struggle in unfamiliar areas due to a lack of historical data, impacting recommendation quality. This recommender combines collaborative filtering, content-based recommendation, and local preferences to offer effective spatial item recommendations, and it suggests top K recommendations based on learned interests of the current user and the local preference of the current city. The experiments using real datasets demonstrate that it outperforms existing methods, especially in new city settings, and the recommended system is efficient in generating recommendations. However, limitations include potentially not performing optimally in extremely sparse datasets or where there's no user activity history. Additionally, the paper lacks a detailed discussion of privacy concerns. Future work can include research to explore techniques for handling sparse data and address privacy issues through privacy-preserving techniques. Next, this paper introduces interest-aware location-based recommendations for personalized suggestions based on the user's current interests, not just location proximity or history. This enhances user experiences by providing highly specific interest-matching recommendations. The recommendation system combines data from location-based social networks like Foursquare and geotag social media content from platforms like Instagram. It introduces score computations like venue power scores and authority scores. Experiments use a large dataset simulating user queries for different interests, comparing recommendations with baseline approaches. They measure recommendation utility and ranking using various metrics, and the results indicate that the proposed recommender outperforms the baseline in utility ranking, relevance, precision, and effectively answers all interest queries. However, the paper has limitations including a limited geographic scope and issues with single-word queries. Future work could involve diverse geographic datasets and implementing NLP techniques for processing more complex user queries effectively.
The first paper I choose is Managing Periodic Behaviors for Moving Objects. There are two problems it addresses. First, how to detect periods in complex movement, and second, how to mine periodic movement behaviors. They are crucial for summarizing long movement histories and predicting future movements. The paper designed a two-stage algorithm, Periodica. Stage 1 is detecting all the periods in the movement with kernel method, and stage 2 is discover periodic behaviors using generating model. They use a generator to create moving objects with periodicity. First, create several reference spots, each of which is a small circle, then generate movement of the objects. Then they use the success rates and representation error to evaluate the period detection and summarization algorithm. It performed nearly perfect and obtained compact, high-quality summarization. A probable limitation is it's difficult to find periodic behaviors in the very sparse and inconstant data. So maybe we can use interpolation techniques to fill gaps in the data to create a more consistent sampling rate. The second paper is called Empowering Next POI Recommendation with Multi-Relational Modeling. The paper claimed the problem that most existing methods either merely focus on the user POI visits or based on oversimplified assumptions and ignore the relational heterogeneities. These heterogeneous social relations bring great challenges to utilize the rich information embedded. To solve this, it is proposed a novel framework MAMO, consisting of a relational modeling module to utilize heterogeneous relations based on multiple GCNs and self-attention, and a user POI mature influence modeling module based on couple RNNs to capture the mature influence between the users and POIs over time. In experiments, they chose 3 datasets over different time periods and compared the performance with Markov, Light GCN, and Central in recall, IFN score, and AUC. The results shown that Memo outperformed existing method in next POI recommendation. Here is the figures of the performance, ablation studies, and parameter studies.
The performance of the recommendation system can degrade significantly due to the following challenges: data sparsity, context awareness, cold start, dynamics of the personal preferences. To address these challenges, Xie and the team proposed a generic graph-based embedding models that jointly captured the sequential effect, the geographical influence, the temporal cyclic effects, and the semantic effect in a unified way by embedding the 4 corresponding relational graphs into a shared low-dimensional space. They used a bipartite graph model to capture the relationship between the POI and the POI, between the POI and the geographical region, between the POI and the time slot, and lastly between the POI and the content words. To keep track of the dynamics of the user preference, they adopt a time decay manners to compute the user latest preference based on the embedding of the user check-in POI and the associated timestamp. Next, I will share the experimental result that the team has done. The experimental result using Foursquare and the Gowana dataset are shown. They compare their graph embedding model against 4 other models, that is SVD features, GIM, PRME, and GeoSage. The evaluation method used is the accuracy at K recommendations. Figure A and B show the recommendation accuracy. Clearly, their proposed GE model has outperformed other models significantly. The next slide shows the line model that the team has used for their bipartite graph embedding for your reference.